News next that the hacker group FancyBears has leaked its fourth batch of the World Anti-Doping Agency's drug test results for some of the world's top sports stars. WADA's medical data names a number of athletes, indeed, who are permitted to take banned substances. So let's talk about this further with Nadira Tudor. She's got the details. She's been across this report. What's come out then?
Well, it is interesting. So 4 leaks, as you mentioned, that have been revealed so far, revealing drugs taken by competing athletes legally as approved by WADA. Now, the first leak was revealed on the 13th, and then every 2 days subsequently, with the last being on the 19th of September. And the reason that it's made the headlines is that they have named huge sports icons who have, lists of achievement. Just to explain, all the named athletes have gone through very strict procedures to gain exemption from drugs that are normally banned. And they must have had a medical reason making it necessary for them to take these drugs. So they've been issued what is called a TUE form, or a therapeutic use exemption form, which WADA approves under very strict guidelines. Now, the first of the 3 leaks mention names like Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Simone Biles. And 2 of the biggest names that have been mentioned in the last leak are Rafael Nadal and Mo Farah. So you can imagine why it's gone a bit crazy in the media. Now, if we look at Rafael Nadal first, he's Spain's universally known as one of the biggest tennis legends of all time. He's won every major tennis Grand Slam, including 9 French Open titles, as well as the men's singles gold at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. He's won 14 Grand Slam single titles, 28 titles in ATP World Tour Masters 1000 events, and 17 ATP World Tour 500 tournaments. So, as you can imagine, the list for him is absolutely endless. Now, he's been issued 2 certificates in the past, 2 of these TUE certificates. One in 2009, where he was allowed to use a banned drug called betamethasone. And then the second was in 2012, where he received clearance to use corticotropins. Now, he's been quoted as saying, and I'll just read this to you, there are many things day to day are banned substances, but when you ask permission and you get it, it stops being illegal. I've taken anything to improve my sport. I haven't taken anything to improve my sporting performance. Simply, the doctors told me to take something to improve my knee.
Grey area, isn't it? What about Mo Farah?
Well, Mo Farah, again, hugely the most successful British track athlete in modern Olympic Games history. In 2012 he won, and in 2016 in both the Olympic gold medalists in 5,000 metres and 10,000 metres. He's the second man in history to win long-distance doubles at successive Olympics and World Championships, and the first in history to do a quadruple double. So, Farah, he received a therapeutic use exemption certificate form to take a drug called triamcinolone, and then in 2014 he was given permission to use 3 separate prohibited substances, including 1 by intravenous injection.
But my question is, okay, this data has been released, but if they were legitimately given certificates to take this for medical reasons, whatever, what's the problem? What's the controversy about this leak?
Well, the controversy, unfortunately, is because they're such huge names, of course, and the names are now in the public domain by the hackers who are still remain anonymous, so no one knows who their identity is. And the fact that they've been able to take drugs that are banned by other athletes who can't fill in this form, I suppose, has raised a few concerns amongst those athletes.
Not a level playing field.
Not a level for some of them, and according to some of them, they've said that this is double standards. Now, in particular, we have Marco Henrik, the German triathlete and extreme swimmer, has spoken out, and so has Jamie Bolsch, a British athlete. They have both aired their views, which we can have a listen to now.
I believe this is not fair. There should be a clear course for the athletes. They should be told there are substances they are allowed to take, and there are substances they are not allowed to take. Anything in between just results in confusion and discontent. This is not good. No matter how big the issue of doping is, every country more or less has had to deal with it. When it comes to Russia, it's very political. It's aimed at excluding Russian athletes.
The trouble with sport in this day and age is so much money in it. And I feel personally that some people are getting far more protected than others, and it's a real big shame for world sport right now. And people like myself who've been a sports person at the top of their tree, winning world championships and getting Olympic medals, etc. It's very sad to see. I would love to see one day that we are all on an equal playing field.
So as you can see, some athletes feel that it's breaking sporting integrity by allowing these athletes to compete whilst taking these drugs.
Yeah,
Very
really
controversial.
Really confusing picture too, isn't it, Dira? Thanks for the update there. Thank you for being with us too. It's coming up to 27 minutes past 2.